look at functions 2 now. So don't let this one scare you. I know we haven't done anything with Canvas, but in the reading on the MDN pages, you should have at least looked at an example that deals with um, the canvas. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new function that draws a rectangle on the canvas that's already provided, referencing the variable called canvas, and a context that's available called ctx. And then this is going to be based on 5 different input variables. So our function is going to need to accept x, y, width, height, and color. And what we want to make sure we do also is clear this canvas before we get started to make kind of a clean slate for this drawing that's going to be written based on all the inputs that we give it. So if we don't do that, we're going to get probably a messy looking canvas here. So let's start by creating a function. So we're going to say function, and I'm going to give it a name. So we'll call it draw squares. And this is where our heavy lifting stuff is going to go. So now we need to accept the 5 parameters. So we need x, y, width. So let's just name all the parameters what they are: x, y, width, height, and color. And then in the body of the function, we need to write something that will work with ctx, this context here. So it says you want to clear the canvas before we draw. So color of the rectangle, width, height, and coordinates. So to clear the canvas, I think we might have to go and find this article. So down here, we're looking at this JavaScript building blocks section, and okay, so let's take a look at this example here. So it says this function draws 100 random circles inside a canvas. Every time we want to do that, we just invoke draw. So here's an example. ctx clear rect. So clear rect 0, 0, width, and height. So let's see if there's anything on MDN about ctx. Clear canvas. So let's look. Alright, so rendering context. Let's take a look at that. No, nothing obvious there. Let's look at JavaScript and Canvas. No, wrong site. Let's take a look, I guess, and we'll just try and figure something out here. So back to this, since this already has some Canvas content here. So I guess we can just start and we'll see what this does. So first things first, we will probably want to add something that makes this function run first. So we're going to say draw squares, and then we're going to ask for all the parameters. So x, y, width, height, and color. And then we can preview this. So we have something to look at. And then we inspect, we don't see any JavaScript. But I do want to take a look at the canvas itself, see what we can figure out. So here's our width and height, 480 by 320. So let's say width is 320, and height is 480. No, didn't make any difference. So that's just the squares we draw. So that's probably not actually going to do much with our canvas size. So ctx canvas.getContext 2D. Let's search for this on MDN. So one of the examples we looked at, it has this clear rect. So traces the pixels by setting them to transparent black. Okay, well maybe we want to start by clearing that. So the context we're going to have to use, because that's the canvas, and clear. So clear that, and then clear. Okay, so erasing the whole canvas. So it wants us to use coordinates. Looks like x, y, width, and height. So we're going to just say whatever they passed in for x, y, and then this width, and this height. So that way we know we're getting the actual values of the canvas. I don't know if we, I guess we can just fill these in too. We'll just start with the coordinates of 0, 0. Might have an error there. Nope, just other stuff that's showing up here. Alright, so we don't know if it's clearing because we don't have anything on it yet. So let's go back here and canvas rendering context 2D. Okay, so this looks familiar. So we've got the context are two-dimensional. Oh, okay, so we can use that context and do a stroked rectangle, a filled rectangle, and then paths. Okay. So what are we actually trying to do? Let's go back and look. We want to create a function that draws a rectangle. So just one rectangle. Should be able to use some of this. Let's fill rectangle is what we want. So we clear it, and then we're going to fill it. It doesn't really say where, so let's just start at the corner. 0, 0, and then use the canvas width again. So however big the canvas is, we're just going to do rectangle. Okay, so I've got a black rectangle showing up. I'm going to zoom out so we can see it a little bit better. No errors still. I wonder if we can change the color, if there's any change that. So fill, fill rectangle, text, drawing lines, text styles, fills and stripes. Oh, so we've got fill style. Use color, gradients, or patterns. Let's try blue. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So we filled it with blue. So we clear it, then we fill it, and then we use the fill style. Let's see what red does there. Okay, that's working like we would think. So now we actually want to tie it into the parameters here. So instead of red, we want to use color that somebody would input. And we probably want to change all these. So instead of our zeros and zeros, we do X and Y. X and Y. And then whatever our values are here. We probably don't need any of these method based ones. So now we've got a small blue rectangle. Why is that? Fill style. Oh, because you're not actually passing anything to it. Yellow, not different. Maybe it needs to be a strip. Okay. Maybe we need to we need to return here. Oh, there we go. I had yellow there. Just couldn't see it. Okay, so undefined. I drew it out 1 pixel, 1 pixel over, 50 pixels down. Let's see if we can measure that. Not quite, but well, close, I think. So it's just each time we're running this, let's try yellow, orange, use different values here, so we put it in a different spot. So what's happening though is each time we're doing this, we're not actually clearing the canvas. So I wonder if we need to use a color to clear it instead of this clear rectangle. Well, let's try this filling. Fill this with white. Still getting blue. Oh, that's why we're getting blue. These are all getting passed through to that part of our function. Okay, so that makes sense. So now refresh. Comment that out and see. Okay, well, I think this is empty. So we paint it white. Then if we just move this, copy these. We set one to just the make the height. This. Okay, so that kind of makes sense now. So we're filling the style of white, we're filling the rectangle, that size. Then we're taking our fill style, whatever our input, and then we're filling it to the coordinates that I set in. Sorry, don't do the turn. Let's see. So draw squares. Alright, so each time I'm drawing this, it's actually clearing and redrawing the square. So, fill style, fill rectangle. Let's take a look at those real quick. Looks like we can loop all those, that's interesting. Let's look at all of Canvas stuff here. So, fill style property makes the rectangle green in this example. And the fill rectangle method places its top left corner at 10, 10. So that's the equivalent of what we're doing here. So, okay, I see. So we're going to fill with white, and then we're going to tell it what to draw as a shape and where to start. So 0, 0 would be your top left, and we're telling it to draw as wide as the canvas and as tall as the canvas. So this is what clears our canvas to start. Then we tell it to take the color we asked to fill with and do the same thing, but with all of these parameters. Okay, well, it's working. Good. So what else can we do? So we've got fill style, fill rectangle. Canvas gradients. Oh, we've got stroke style as well. Let's add stroke style. Okay, so same as these, so we got fill stroke fill color. Stroke color. So we're just playing around here, just experimenting. So we need these parameters here. Looks like we've got an error. Stroke color is not defined. Stroke color. Oh, that's fine. Fill color. I wonder if we can change the size of the stroke. Style. Line width. Yeah, that did it. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've kind of gone beyond what the assignment asked us to do, but I think it's worth exploring sometimes, especially if it's something that we haven't really dealt with before. Um, Sometimes we have to do a little bit of a deep dive and dig and find and experiment with new functionality that we haven't seen before. But it's interesting, this um, canvas rendering context. Lots of different functionalities that we might want to use in the future. Fill styles, fonts, shadow, color, offset, text alignment. Almost looks like a lot of the functionality you have in Illustrator. There we go, script, transform, translate. Nice. Alright, well that wraps up functions 2.